This is an RNZ podcast.
Hello, I'm Simon Morris. Looking back on the big films of 2025, one thing is abundantly clear. The old Hollywood star system isn't what it used to be. Of all the year's hits, hardly any were particularly dependent on who was in them. There were remakes of popular family titles, Lilo and Stitch, How to Train Your Dragon. There were revivals of popular comic book titles, Superman, The Fantastic Four. There were further instalments of horror franchises.
Ed, there's an evil here. Something I've felt before. This thing in your house is a demon.
But frankly, anyone could have been in these films, and often were. The few A-listers in this year's top 20 were subservient to the movie's other elements. Jurassic World featured Scarlett Johansson and dinosaurs. F1 was just as much Formula One cars as Brad Pitt. All right, I'll make an exception for Tom Cruise in the final Mission Impossible.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
But these days, even Tom has to be in a familiar role, whether it's Mission Impossible or Top Gun. This year, it seems, star status alone won't guarantee a hit. Not anymore.
Your movies need to make a profit. Now, what is the one thing, if you put it in a movie, it'll be successful?
Tits.
No, better than that. A star.
Ed, you must have me confused with David Selznick. I don't make major motion pictures. I make crap.
Yes, but if you take that crap and put a star in it, then you've got something.
In fact, it's becoming harder and harder to name genuinely A-list stars, people whose fascinating personalities are enough to drag people to a movie. In fact, most people's leading candidates have been failing pretty dismally.
There's an art to this you may not realize. But the art to saying the same thing over and over. Let's see your technique. I showed you my luggage card trick. Admit it. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, fine. It was very cool.
And that's a little film called Wolves, starring not one but two of, you'd think, the biggest movie stars on earth, Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And yet, not only have most of you never heard of it, it didn't even get a theatrical release, straight to Apple Plus. What's going on? Why are traditional star-led films failing?
You're Norma Desmond. Used to be in silent pictures, used to be big.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
I knew there was something wrong.
Is that it? Were the films not up to scratch? Or are today's stars somehow inferior to those of various non-specific golden ages of our youth? Or do we need more than just a pretty face? We want genuine actors now.
You couldn't have convinced me unless you had that courage. Nobody's that good an actor. I'm not an actor, I'm a movie star!
I have no idea, and this week I have a chance to find out, maybe. 3 films that arrived trailing clouds of star-studded glory, only to fail where it counted. After The Hunt, starring Julia Roberts and directed by Luca Guadagnino, has all the hallmarks of a serious drama, the sort we've all been crying out for, surely.
Because women are penalized for speaking out, I shouldn't? That's your logic?
I went too hard. Let it all just be taken away. Well, she's exploiting this shallow cultural moment.
I almost feel bad for him.
Straight to Prime Video with After the Hunt, despite a big launch at the Venice Film Festival. A different type of star vehicle is the solo turn, in this case by Dame Emma Thompson. In Dead of Winter, she abandons usual English drawing room chit-chat for minimal dialogue in the frozen wastes of Minnesota.
Hello? Anyone out there? It's an emergency. There's been a kidnapping. Anyone?
But first, a film that seems to have it all going on, star-wise. Jay Kelly sees glamorous film star George Clooney play a glamorous film star.
And action. Jay Kelly.
Jay Kelly is a hero of cinema.
Jay Kelly.
What do you say to people who say you only play yourself?
I think what you do is magic.
You know how difficult it is to be yourself? You try it.
J. Kelly on paper has an impressive pedigree. Everyone's favourite old-school movie star, the debonair George Clooney, is joined by, like it or not, America's most popular comedy star, Adam Sandler. The film is directed and co-written by Noah Baumbach, whose last film was one of the biggest hits ever, Barbie.
I don't want to be here anymore, Jerry. I want to leave the party.
Like so many Clooney vehicles, J. Kelly harks back to Hollywood's heyday when movie stars like Clark Gable, Gary Cooper and Cary Grant ruled the screens. Well, hardly a stretch for George, you'd think. Or for Adam Sandler, who plays his loyal manager, Ron.
J. Kelly, so handsome. Look at you. You're the American dream. The last of the old movie stars.
I'm down here.
You're up there, you're down here, you're in here. We did this together.
But what has Kelly sacrificed to reach these heady heights? These days he finds himself looking back, particularly on his family life, such as it was. When his younger daughter takes off for Europe, he realises he barely knows her. For most of her childhood, he was always away making movies.
See you, Dad. I'm leaving on Saturday for Paris.
This is your last summer. It'll be so lonely here without you.
No, it won't. You're never alone.
Really? I think I'm always alone. Thanks a lot.
His other daughter, not to mention various ex-wives and lovers, barely talk to him. His closest friends are his entourage, manager Ron, press agent Liz, security guys, stylists, gophers and the rest. But are they really friends?
J. Kelly.
We love him.
You love him. I work for him. You know I adore you.
Cary Grant. J. Kelly. I'm just an actor that got famous.
J. Kelly decides it's all going to change. That obscure European film festival tribute to him that he turned down, he's changed his mind. He'll use it as an excuse to meet up with his daughter for some long-delayed family time. It's a chance to get away from it all. Well, perhaps not all of it.
Thinking about her leaving, I feel like I missed it.
We need you now. Jay's having a nervous breakdown. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Clearly he can't function without his people, who all have to drop everything and go with him. And as part of his back-to-basics approach, he decides they all have to go by train. You know, like a classic 40s screwball comedy.
Jay, where are we going?
Meg, where are we going?
France.
France.
France?
Stars.
Is it J. Kelly?
In fact, I can tell you the very 40s comedy, Preston Sturges' rather superior Sullivan's Travels, which followed another Hollywood big shot going out in the world to find out what ordinary folk get up to. But where Sullivan went incognito, Jay is more than happy to meet his public. Why wouldn't he? They all love him.
They come and go. They come fast, they come slow.
When I look at you, I see my whole life.
They go like the last light of the sun.
But do they love the real J. Kelly or just the films they remember him in and the characters they grew up with? The obvious quote, and get used to obvious Hollywood insights throughout J. Kelly, is Cary Grant's rueful, everyone wants to be Cary Grant. Even I want to be Cary Grant.
I don't know who to be mad at, but I'm finding myself being very mad at you, Ron.
Be mad at me, Liz. The train was my idea.
That's the problem. I'm not allowed to be mad at you.
Of course, ripping the phony tinsel and glitter away to reveal the tawdry shallowness of movie stardom isn't exactly breaking new ground. Every couple of years, Hollywood turns out a Hollywood movie that says pretty much the same thing. But the gimmick here of getting movie star George Clooney to play someone uncomfortably close to our idea of George Clooney doesn't help as much as writer-director Noah Baumbach thinks.
Lately, I feel like my life doesn't really feel real. Suddenly remembering things. What is that?
Memory?
That's like a movie where I'm playing myself.
The fact is, charming, decent and hard-working as, by all accounts, Clooney is, he's not an actor with much of a range. He generally plays movie stars of one sort or another. If you want someone to provide any insight or ironies to that role, you probably should go elsewhere.
All my memories are movies.
That's what movies are for us.
Pieces of time.
Pieces of time.
The crowded talents behind J. Kelly, friends of George no doubt, are quite astonishing. Laura Dern and Isla Fisher, Billy Crudup and Stacey Keach as Kelly's father. Greta Gerwig pops up as a favour to Baumbach to play Adam Sandler's wife, and Emily Mortimer not only plays a Kelly minion, but co-wrote the script.
How can I play people when I don't see people and touch people?
Don't touch people.
I mean, the film got an 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, possibly influenced by the cast's star appeal on opening night. Came the dawn, certainly back home in the States, the tinsel and glitter fell away pretty fast.
It's got to have meant something.
What if it didn't?
Does none of this mean anything to you? Because it means something to me. I mean, you're Jay Kelly, but I'm Jay Kelly too.
Could J. Kelly have done better if it took a more adventurous position than being a movie star as a full-time job? I'm not sure. The fact that these days stars like Kelly are almost historical figures is probably part of J. Kelly's lack of traction.
Everything you thought you were isn't true.
And cut.
Can we go again?
Dame Emma Thompson can occasionally be rather a divisive figure in movies. When she's good, she's breathtakingly so in Remains of the Day, Sense and Sensibility, the recent Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. She's also turned up in an awful lot of subpar films. Nanny McPhee, anyone? But she never gives less than 100%. Case in point, Dead of Winter.
Carl had an unusual request. He wanted his ashes to be scattered up north.
Dead of Winter is set almost entirely outdoors in the relentless snow of America's frozen north. Emma Thompson plays recent widow Barb, who takes off with her late husband Carl's ashes. She's taking them to their favourite spot, Lake Hilda.
Try that again, you're dead.
Just as she's about to scatter the ashes, she hears something. A young woman in trouble running from a heavily wrapped up bearded chap. Actually, I'm not sure why I mentioned he was heavily wrapped up. It's the dead of winter. Everyone's wrapped up, but not necessarily shooting. Barb follows the man and girl back to a shack. Perhaps she can help.
Oh, hey there.
What are you doing up here?
Just a little fishing.
By yourself?
Yeah.
But before she can formulate much of a plan of action, she's confronted by a heavily wrapped up bearded chap.
Say, you wouldn't happen to know where Lake Hilda is, would you?
Yeah. Just back over the hill here.
Okay. Well, stay warm.
She fobs him off with a vague excuse for being there and then pretends to leave. She then sneaks round the back, peers into the basement and sees the girl tied and gagged. But before she can do anything, another car pulls up and a woman gets out, clearly the partner of Mr. Heavily Wrapped Up.
Any snags?
Nope.
You sure?
Yeah, she was right where you said she'd be, coming out of the pharmacy. Grabbed her in the alley, no one saw shit.
And the rest of Dead of Winter mostly sees Barb loitering outside, the girl in the cellar, kidnapped for some unstated purpose, and Mr. and Mrs. Heavily Wrapped bickering in the house. It's pretty obvious Mrs. is the one wearing the pants in this relationship.
What did she want?
I gave her directions to the lake.
I need you to stop being so nice to people.
It's a minor variation of the sort of one person in the frozen waste thriller we usually associate with Liam Neeson. The difference being that Liam would usually be stocked up with a particular set of skills to take on the baddies.
You hurt? I'm not leaving you.
Barb, on the other hand, has just got a working knowledge of the great outdoors and an admirable tenacity. She whispers encouragement to the girl, then scouts around the snowy wilderness, looking for the opportunity to rescue her. By now, we're all starting to feel a bit cold in sympathy. But star Emma Thompson, who I imagine in real life is as spoiled and cosseted as the rest of us, is extremely convincing as someone at home in the icy tundra. The film is directed by TV veteran Brian Kirk, whose stint on Game of Thrones was clearly good training for the various White Walkers chasing each other in dead of winter. It might have been his idea to push for some seasonal respite. Flashbacks to a very young Barb and husband Carl relaxing in the summer version of Lake Hilda. Yes, that's Emma Thompson's daughter, Gaia Wise, playing Mum's younger self.
Hey, you, do me a favor. You grab me one of those grub barb lures. Should be in the tackle box in the bottom left.
Why, did your leg stop working?
Now, these stripped-to-the-bone thrillers stand or fall on the credibility of the villains. Why exactly are they holding the young girl? They don't seem to be asking for a ransom. And we'd also like Barb to display more dimensions than merely the ability to rush around in the snow.
What are we gonna do?
We keep going. Simple as that.
To the credit of Dead of Winter's first-time writers, with, you suspect, some uncredited help by Emma Thompson herself, Barb carries her story to a satisfying conclusion. If only the villain's plot hadn't stretched credibility to breaking point. When lead villain Judy Greer calls out near the end, it's hard not to sympathise.
We have to make this work! Why are you doing this?
Longtime movie star Julia Roberts has been a popular favourite since she first joined the A-list over 30 years ago in Pretty Woman, a position she's held ever since. But she's also established herself as a genuinely great film actress, so the prospect of a movie with respected Italian director Luca Guadagnino of Challengers and Queer fame seemed very promising. So why is After the Hunt only viewable on Prime Video?
I support whatever you choose. But higher education is run by white men, and you need those white men to hire you, and they won't. Because they will be terrified you will do the same thing to them.
After the Hunt has summoned a stellar cast for a story that's set at Yale University. It opens on after-hours drinks at the philosophy department with both staff and students.
All your generation, you're scared of saying the wrong thing. When did offending someone become the preeminent cardinal sin?
Maybe it's around the same time your generation started making sweeping generalizations about ours.
That's popular teacher Hank, Andrew Garfield, sparring with ambitious student Maggie, Io Edebri. The old generation gap meets modern-day culture wars. Their hosts, Alma and Frederick, Julia Roberts and Michael Stuhlbarg, smile tolerantly.
Whatever shame you have around self-expression, it is bullshit.
Bullshit.
In fact, Hank and Alma are both in the hunt for that all-important tenure at Yale. And in the final stages, it's vital that no boat gets rocked. Meanwhile, young Maggie is on her own hunt. She's putting pressure on both her teachers to pass her doctorate thesis. And Alma is a person who likes being admired.
You tend to choose people because they worship you, not because of any actual merit on their part.
Maggie is brilliant.
Is she? Does she just think you're brilliant?
Or even more than admired. Although she dismisses her husband's affectionate sniping, it's obvious she and Hank are very close, and that the gay Maggie has something of a crush on Alma.
Hank's continued obsession.
We're friends. Always will be.
Here we go.
Here we go indeed. At the end of the boozy night, Hank agrees to take Maggie home. But the next day, Maggie doesn't show up in class. Alma doesn't think anything of it until she goes home to find Maggie waiting for her.
Hank walked me home. He asked for a nightcap, which, it's fine. He's Hank. Everybody loves Hank.
What are you saying happened?
He crossed the line.
But what actually happened?
Yes, it's that story, but this time it's deliberately kept a little vague, certainly too vague for Alma. But does that matter? After all, student Maggie says Professor Hank behaved inappropriately. That's enough, surely. But then Maggie crosses her own line when she presses Alma to support her.
It's the right thing to do, isn't it? To tell someone and, give them your history.
What does that mean, my history?
Alma is furious that Maggie seems to have unearthed something hidden in Alma's past, but it's clear she still needs to talk to Hank, and this is Hank's rather unsatisfactory side of the story.
So are you going to tell me why this is not true?
Caught Maggie cheating. I told her I suspected she plagiarized, and then the next day, utter fabrication.
Again, hardly convincing, but for good or ill, After the Hunt seems less interested in getting to the heart of two conflicting versions of events than in seeing how the characters react afterwards.
These kids have had everything handed to them in their lives. It's just that the world stopped at the first slip of victimization.
It's just amazing to me. A young black woman can get assaulted and all these white people figure out a way to make it about themselves.
We have seen this story so many times now, in which sometimes he did it, sometimes she totally made it up, and the punchline is when the truth comes out. But I kept thinking of a satisfying third way, Eve Victor's film Sorry Baby, that dodged the Me Too cliches using dark comedy to get through a similar plotline. There are very few jokes in After the Hunt, an ambitious but flawed first script by young actress Nora Garrett.
I don't feel comfortable having this conversation with you anymore.
Not everything is supposed to make you comfortable.
Still, there are some wonderful moments thanks to the performances, particularly Julia Roberts and Io Adebri, both uncompromisingly fighting their corners. But you can see why After the Hunt did terrible business in American theatres and therefore went straight to Prime Video here.
Should I build a world for you that has all the edges rounded out? Am I not owed this? Had your chosen cell with niceties and trigger warnings.
These are not the times for shades of grey, certainly in movies. And when director Luca Guadagnino playfully ends the film by calling out cut, it's only a movie, folks, all it does is amplify the filmmaker's cop-out. I mean, what's the point of having bona fide stars in your movie if you're not going to give us a fist-pumping Hollywood ending? Asking for a friend. Of Hollywood endings, that is. And on that trendy invitation to a conversation, it's time to go. I'm Simon Morris, and I hope you'll join me at the movies, same time next week.